Okay, thanks for having me. Hello everyone, my name is Jiachuan Peng, and today my topic is the explainable myocardial infarction prediction with multitask learning. And I would like to start by introducing the background of cardiovascular disease a little bit. So it is responsible for many cases of death each year, and it is identified as the #1 killer across the world. And among all the CVDs, myocardial infarction, MI, is one of the major threats, causing damage to the heart by reducing the contractility and pumping efficiency. It is therefore very important to predict the MI events at an early stage and identify potential populations with high risks. And in this study, our aim is to develop advanced models for incident MI prediction. That is, the MI events happening in the future. So we have the data set here. So we used the UK Biobank study, which is a large-scale multimodality data. And instead of cardiac MR images, here we use 3D images representing cardiac biventricular surfaces. And by doing so, we can actually integrate multiple 2D views of the heart into unified, high-resolution, and continuous 3D representations. And here's the pipeline we used to do the reconstruction, and this is one of our previous works. And we have the examples of two subjects here. So we used point cloud anatomies at both the end-diastolic and end-systolic phases in a cardiac cycle. This will allow the model to examine the contractile ability of the heart. And in our method, for each subject, we'll have a paired ED and ES anatomy. And for disease prediction, we'll have the labels of clinical outcome to identify whether one subject is healthy or not. And we propose to include multitask learning in this work. So in addition to that, we'll have the labels of cardiac substructures. And by saying that, we refer to the left ventricle epicardium, endocardium, and the right ventricle endocardium, which are clearly indicated in different colors here. So these labels can be acquired very easily because different substructures are well separated. And here's the proposed multitask framework. We have the ED and ES as the inputs. And the first step is to employ farthest point sampling FPS and key nearest neighbor KNN to split them into small patches. So FPS is used to downsample the points, and these downsample points will be regarded as the central points, and the KNN algorithm will be used to find the K nearest points around those centrals, finally forming these small point patches here. And next we'll have a lightweight embedding module, including series of convolution blocks and max poolings to embed these point patches into latent tokens, which are represented in this as these yellow cuboids. And a classification token will be attached to them and fed into these transformer blocks. So finally, the classification token will learn all the information from other patches and will be used to do the MR prediction. And all these yellow tokens will be assigned a cardiac substructure label. And notably, each point on the point patch will normally belong to the same cardiac substructure surface. So we actually reformulate this point-wise segmentation problem as the patch-wise classification problem. So these two tasks will be optimized together under the multitask learning setting. And here are some numerical results. The text below are just some brief introduction of the compared baselines. So it can be observed that our model substantially outperform other baselines across all the metrics, including area on the curve, accuracy, and F1 score. We also investigated the effect of our proposed module via ablation study. So here the x-axis refers to the waiting term of substructure prediction module alpha. So when you have alpha equals 0, that means this is just only disease prediction and no multitask training. So you can see that if you gradually increase the alpha within the interval from 0 to 1, there's an obvious performance improvement in terms of area on the curve and accuracy. And for F1 score, it's slightly fluctuating. So we can actually find a best trade-off point where alpha equals to 1, and that means you're assigning equal importance to both tasks. And finally, we investigated the explainability and model's clinical relevance. So we want to see how the disease prediction is affected by our proposed auxiliary task. And so after training, we extracted the classification token or the embeddings, which are 384-dimensional. And we further selected 4 clinical markers, including myocardial thickness change, mass change, ejection fraction, and etc. So we performed Spearman's correlation analysis between each dimension of these embeddings and these 4 clinical metrics. So the result will reflect how well the model encodes the clinical information from the input. And normally, higher values represent higher correlations with these clinical markers. And we summarize the results in these box plots, where red bars and blue bars represent there's multitask learning involved or not. So you can see that the overall correlation range for multitask learning is narrow, is wider. And additionally, we mark with dots the correlation values of top 20 embeddings that contribute most to the model predictions. And you can see that these dots are predominantly positioned around 2 edges of bars. So I believe these analyses show that with the proposed multitask learning, the encoded embeddings will have higher correlation, higher association with clinical information. And meanwhile, the model will tend to allocate high importance to the dimensions with higher clinical relevance during the prediction. And we finally visualized the attention maps. So we provided 4 views of the anatomy of one example subject here. Light color indicate high attention. So without multitask learning, the model tend to allocate high attention to almost everywhere of the heart and focus only on the global view. And by contrast, with multitask learning, higher attention is directed to specific local regions within left ventricle, particularly anterior wall to the apex. And we found these patterns appear to correspond to the clinical manifestation of myocardial infarction. And in summary, we've introduced a multitask learning framework for improved myocardial infarction prediction, and the proposed model demonstrates better predictive performance. And beyond accuracy, the model enhances explainability by showing the alignment with commonly used cardiac functional indicators. And we hope that our configuration could provide some inspirations for building discriminative machine learning models for medical image analysis. And yeah, thanks for listening. Feel free to ask questions you might have.